Welcome to the Eye on Annapolis Local Business Spotlight. There are thousands of locally owned businesses in the area, some small and some large. Some you may know and others you don't. But one thing they all have in common is a great story, and we want to share it with you. Join us every Saturday as we talk to the founders, the owners, and the managers of local businesses you have come to know and love, and those you will come to know and love. Now here's your host, John Frenay, with this week's Local Business Spotlight.
Well, I will say that commercial real estate seems to be booming. We are here at 888 Bestgate Road at Big Bean Coffee Shop, and the parking lot is absolutely jammed. But we're here with Tina Gann, who is the owner of Simply Organized, because my life tends to be a hot mess as it is. This seems like a perfect thing to be talking about. But how are you?
I am good. Good morning. So glad to have this opportunity to be with you.
First things first, simplyorganizedannapolis.com is the main website. And you can also go simplyorganizedwithtina.com, which also gets you there as well. I think we can all use a bit of organization in our lives. Certainly, I know I can. I know when my house cleaners come in, I love my desk for about 20 minutes. And then I start to hate it because it looks like it looked 20 minutes before the house cleaners came as you tear it out. But you are a professional organizer.
Yes.
So I'm going to say that in the past that, I've really kind of scoffed at services like this. It's like, oh, come on. And you can't straighten up that pack of papers or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But I have some friends that are, use the vernacular, are very anal about our organization. I've seen when you've got a house that's put together and it is night and day. And so my prior scoffing has been superseded there. And I've got to think that as we mature, as we get older, we just accumulate more stuff.
Yeah.
And I know the new kids today don't want my stuff. So it's a question as to what to do with it. You'd obviously get rid of it. The other option is organize it, right?
Yes, definitely. So you're not the first one to say, well, why would I hire an organizer? I have to say, some people are naturally organized. They're naturally able to downsize, simplify, and they do that naturally. They, always do a reset. They always take their things to donate. They rid of their things, but things do accumulate in your home and in your office, in your workspace, and making sense of it all is what we help with. We don't only do that, but we also can come back and help with the maintenance of it.
Oh, interesting.
So just like you have house cleaners that come every few weeks or every month to clean, well,
right,
you got to deal with the stuff before they can actually clean the surfaces, right?
Which is ridiculous in my mind. But everybody does it. Hey, I've got to clean before the cleaners come.
That's right. And so things get shoved in the closets and shoved in the drawers, but it doesn't get dealt with truly. So we can come in and we can help make a home for everything. It's easier once you have established a home for things to then be able to maintain, put it away. But something that you have to think about is to live and have a maintained, organized life. When things come in, where's it going to go? What happens usually and a lot of times is it just gets set on the counter or in the corner and not really dealt with. And then those things pile up. And we're in a consumer-friendly place, right? We can click a button and something that we've ordered is there that day. Okay, so those boxes pile up and the things pile up. And unless we're making concerted efforts to do something about the stuff, it can get really overwhelming really quick.
Next thing you know, the fire companies come in and say, hey, we've got a hoarding situation here. And then it's like, are you like a drill sergeant for organization? Is that kind of when you come in to...
Anyone that knows me knows I'm not a drill sergeant, but I can definitely come in and reason with you, make sense of, help you make those decisions. Really do truly need that. Is just taking up space.
When you work, how did this all start? Are you just a naturally organized person?
So I am naturally organized, but I am also a very sentimental person. So it's easy for me to accumulate naturally. And I can relate to a lot of people in not wanting to let go of things. So I'd say probably about 10 years ago, I went through my own transformation of simplifying my home, simplifying my space, and it was life-changing. From that point, I was like, okay, I just started shouting it from the rooftops, like, this is amazing. You can do it too. And it's really a mindset shift that I experienced. And it's something that I work with my clients to help them shift their mind.
And I will say that I know when I was married, my ex-wife was a big proponent of like put the artwork on the refrigerator and then save it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, thank God that cell phones came out with cameras in them. So, I can sit there and just take a picture of that and we can get rid of that second grade handprints on them,
Right.
whatever it may be.
Right.
As talented as it may look for a second grader, I mean, the reality is that we're not going to be taking this, this is not something we're going to be willing to our children when
Right.
he gets there.
Now that we live in a digital era, a lot of the paper clutter has definitely decreased. But then here's another, now we have digital organization, right? That we still have files and folders. And anyway, that's a whole other thing.
Do you get into that?
No, not as much. But digitizing is a way to go to help decrease
The physical clutter.
physical clutter.
Sure. Well, how does the process work when I work with Simply Organized?
Yeah. So on our website, we have a form that you can fill out, which, you give your information and it automatically sends you to a scheduler to schedule a consultation. And so with the consultation, we come out, you can either go in person or virtual.
Okay, this is the part where they judge you.
No judgment, mere judgment free. We are so judgment free. We believe that everybody has the right and the opportunity to live in a home, in a house, in a space that's living for living, not for storage, and to really enjoy a space. So judgment free. If you think, we hear this all the time. I'm so embarrassed. This is probably the worst that you've ever seen. And here's the thing. It's not the worst that we've ever seen. Okay. So we're here to help. But yeah, so we come in, we just do an intake of, okay, what are the pain points? What are the things that you really could use the most help with? And then we go from there. So if it's a basement or a garage or a storage heavy space, we look at the area, we see, do you need some storage structure, some shelves, and we do measurements, we take pictures. But anyway, we talk through what makes the most sense to you. We have packages based on the scope of the project that we will recommend, and then we can schedule from then. And then once we have committed and you have scheduled with us, it will probably be a few weeks after the fact because we then go home, go back to the office, and we come up with plans. We come up with if there's any structure or organizing products that are needed to better organize.
You mentioned garages and basements, and so it's you really are a whole house organization.
We are whole house, and we've had multiple projects where we start in one space and then our clients continue to hire us back for the other spaces until it's basically we've organized your whole home. Or right off the bat, they say, we just made the whole home organized. So we have packages to fit those, whatever your need is.
Okay. And you were talking about the measurements and stuff like that. And, you come into a garage and it's, it hasn't seen a car in 100 years. And, if they need shelving, if they need a cabinet or something like that, presuming that's something facilitate, but you don't provide, right? We
don't provide it. That's an additional cost. But what we do is we take measurements, we present to you, okay, we think that these things will be great recommendations to purchase. If we get the go ahead from you, we can purchase them, bring them day of, or if it's something that needs to be installed, we tell you, okay, this needs to be installed. If you need help facilitating a handyman or someone to come in and do that, we can help with that.
Okay. So you're not bringing out the hammers to install the shelves in the garage.
So depending, we don't usually like to cut holes in lots, but if it's something that's a standalone thing, we can absolutely put it together on our sessions. So
you're like a whiz at IKEA.
Absolutely, we are. Yes. Yes. So bookshelves, cube organizers, things like that, we can put together, shoe racks, things like that. But if it is a new closet system, definitely we will tell you the closet system to get, and then say, all right.
You look at all these, like, the California closets and all these people that do the closets. It's, I see some of them and I just get so jealous as I look at my shoes sort of thrown on the floor of mine.
Yeah. With the wire shelves and the one rod and there's not very much.
And that's something that I just never really had the gumption, I guess, if you will, to drop the coin on it.
Yeah.
To do it.
Well, some of our homes and spaces, we really need to capitalize on every square inch. And so that's when it's really important to create a little bit more structure so that we can establish a home for everything. So then once we have established all of that, we schedule a day or 2 or 10 to come out, just depending. And we've got a team of organizers. So usually we have 2 or 3 organizers on a job at any given time. And we come in and we implement the plan. We help work with you to talk through those, questions that we ask to help you decide what to get rid of and what's going to stay. And then we implement our systems, which we sort, edit, organize, and label.
Let's just say we've got a really messy house. Okay. It's not the worst you've seen because it never
Clean it all.
Oh, yeah. And we have a little dumpster that we're going to get rid of some stuff that's parked out in the parking lot. We've ordered that in there. You've come in and done your thing and said, okay, we need shelves. We need to, make sure that the Container Store has a really good quarter and buy all sorts of stuff at the Container Store. And, we'll give IKEA a little bit of a bump. So everything is there. It's what's been installed has been installed with your help. You guys come in. I mean, how deep down into the minutia do you get?
We get in every corner.
I've done this drawer in my dresser, which has like some matchbooks. That's got some spare cord. It's a junk drawer. And it's got a little bit it's got some pictures from 30 years ago that I don't really care about or want. It's just been there. Is that?
Yes.
So you're going in there and saying, okay, do you really need this picture from when you were?
Yes and no. Our very first step is to sort. So we want to make sense of all this stuff. We want to make sense. Does that picture really belong in the junk drawer? Does it belong with the rest of the pictures in storage or in your picture books? We're trying to establish the homes for things. And so, yes, we do get into the minute details of every space.
Do you alphabetize spices?
Absolutely. I wish I could show you my spice cabinet right now. Alphabetize. I believe that's the best way to go.
Just like when you're shopping at the grocery store.
Absolutely. But we can take it to the next level where we decant all the spices to all matching containers and bring it up a notch. If you want that, it's not we see what you want, but we love to give the aesthetic as well.
Do you do offices as well? Or
we do.
Okay. So then I guess that begs the question, because a lot of people, not here, obviously, but work from home.
Yeah.
As far as the organization, I find myself saving paper that I probably don't need to save. And it's in the drawers that slide out of the thing. And in the back of my mind, I really want to get a stand-up desk, which doesn't have a lot of storage.
Right. Oh. That's the challenge with this.
I look at this double drawer file with all this papers in and stuff like that. How does something like that work?
So yes, we do help with paper organization. We have guides of how long you should be keeping your files, how long, if you need to keep it or not. But yes, we have dove into paper organization. Those sessions take longer than you think, just because you're handling
absolutely
every piece of paper, right? But we also, so here's another thing: we can work with you, or we can work alone, as long as you give us some guidelines. We bring a shredder. We can shred paper. Now, if there are boxes of shredded things that need shredded, we would just say take it to a shred place.
Right.
But we can start working through the papers and get you organized.
That's wild. And again, the stuff that you need to get organized. Okay, just a house is 4 walls, a floor, and a ceiling. So the crates, the boxes, the hangers, and stuff like that. That after your initial, okay, hey, we're going to go ahead with Simply Organized, you're going to leave me a shopping list?
Yes. So we offer, depending on the size of the package, our smaller packages, we would just send you a shopping list for you to shop. Or if it's a bigger package, we do offer to do all the shopping. Of course, you pay for that, but
Right.
sure. Anyway, so yeah, we would just provide a list of here are the things that we want in time for our session, and then we can implement them when we're there.
That's cool. You said you had this transformation 10 years ago.
Yes.
And you were screaming it from the roofs. And I mean, that's how this all started. What are the benefits of a truly organized home when after you guys come through? Okay, obviously it looks a little bit cleaner, it looks a little bit neater, but I've got to imagine there's probably some emotional and some mental health benefits and everything else that go along with that. Is that accurate?
So absolutely. So if you think you walk into your office, your desk, a lot of people might have paper everywhere. And to start your day off that way, it's already chaos. If you can start with a clean slate, you can think clearer, right? And that goes along in the rest of your home. Having a clear space really helps to clear your mind, helps you to not be distracted or stressed. The level of stress in your mind, in your body goes down. The other thing is you save time because you know where your keys are
To go.
You know where everything is because you have established a home for it. And the other thing is you ultimately save money because you don't have to keep buying the thing that you can't find when you actually had 10 of those things that you couldn't find them, right? So you're saving money because you know where your things are.
Yeah, no, I see that. I mean, I used to own several travel agencies, and I had one agent that was the biggest pack rat you could possibly imagine. Okay, you never know when I'm going to need that brochure from 2002.
Right.
To her defense, I mean, you could barely see her behind her desk because of all the paper and stuff that was piled up on there. There was a little channel. But to her defense, she knew exactly where it was, which was very bizarre to me. You follow say, hey, Maureen, do you have any idea, what the name of on the left pile, maybe about 8 inches down, there should be a brochure with that, and there's a paper in it. And we would always be like, oh my gosh, how, obviously she was a very smart woman to be.
She was organized in her mind.
Right.
It just maybe didn't visually, right? But that's something that I like to address is that we all organize in different ways. So some of us are very visual where we have to see it. If it's not there, if it's tucked away in a drawer, if it's tucked away in the closet, we're going to forget it even exists. So when we organize, we do like to understand the individual that we're organizing for. Do they need to see it? Are they more visual? That will help us decide on the organizing products that we have. Are we going to use clear baskets versus opaque? I like the visual of the clean, opaque look, but it doesn't work for everybody. They'd rather have a basket that they can see into, even though they have a label that says what's in it.
Right.
So that was, yes, we all are organized in different ways. So we want to be able to address what works for you.
It's so funny that you just said that, and it just dawned on me. I mean, I had a pair of shoes that the heels started to come off, and they were old, and they were comfortable, broken. I mean, it's like that T-shirt that you had from like high school. You just don't want to get rid of, and they were all broken in there. So I ordered a duplicate pair of them and put them in my closet in a shoe rack, and I forgot about them. And I'm still walking around with the shoes that have the flippy flop on the heel that's coming off. And just recently, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I've got the new ones here. I just to get them and throw the old ones out.
So the other thing that we love to do is when the consultation is happening, I say, please don't clean up because we want to see the flow of the house. Like, what's your natural rhythms? And we want to organize to that. We don't want to change how you live. We want your home to work for you, and we want to organize it to work for you. So if you're putting your shoes in your closet, but that's not where you look for your shoes, maybe you need to put your shoes by the front door or by, wherever it is natural for you to store the shoes.
Yeah.
Right.
Makes sense. That makes sense. Do you get into, and I kind of think it's related, and I know it's a whole separate industry about like staging for real estate and stuff like that and ergonomics, but I mean, that also has a lot to do with organizations. I mean, I know I look at a living room and I'm like, okay, do you come in and say, well, this could look a lot less cluttered if we turned around and maybe pushed the couch over here and put the picture table against this wall so it's not out in the middle. Or, do you get into that as well?
We do. I don't say we are stagers, but we can absolutely help to stage your home for real estate, for making it show ready. And the way that we do that is a lot of times you just need to clear more than you think. You need to clear the counters, you need to clear the clutter, but to another level. And so with that, it kind of goes into another thing that we can offer is that we offer light packing for a move. So anything that if you're staging for your home, we can clear off the things that you don't need and we can pack them away ready to go for the move and get your home staged. And also with staging, we don't bring in furniture, we don't bring in pillows, but we can stage your home with the things that you have and make it look presentable.
And I imagine you do the same thing for offices as well. Hey, the monitor would look better over here. We could do.
Yes.
Awesome. Give me a horror story. Okay. You say there's no, give me just no names. But I mean, has there been anything that, and I know there has been a worse that you all went back and were like, oh my gosh, did you see this house? Or,
we have come across many things, anything. We come across everything. We've come across everything. There was a particular client that we were working with. We were working in their garage and we kept coming across mice droppings and mice infestations in their boxes and their storage totes that's normal. If it hasn't been gone through in a few years or 10 years or 20 years, you're going to find that free. But the interesting thing is we did come across a mouse and it was in a box. And I said, we have to get rid of this whole box. And I took it out to the yard and sure thing, it was just running around. And the client, so the thing that was interesting to me was the client had empathy for the mouse more than her stuff.
In the box
And she wanted to keep everything in the box, even though it was destroyed. Even though there was a live mouse in it.
All right, pooping and peeing on the papers and chewing the papers and everything.
But that was just a really interesting thing for me to see. And
I think we're changing on generations because I think the younger generations are not into things and are into experiences. And I mean, you see that as far as travel and just, what we want to do. We don't necessarily want to buy something. We'd rather go experience something. But we got this older generation, the boomers and the whatever else comes there, that are collectors. I mean, you had the Longaberger baskets and the Precious Moments figurines and all the little stuff that nobody wants anymore. I mean, I thought I was going to make my millions off of Beanie Babies when my kids were younger. You're working with generations that are collectors. So that's just got to be a challenge for you guys, I would imagine. And the homeowners.
It is a challenge. A lot of times we are called, the children of the older generation will call us to say, hey, my mom, hey, my dad needs help downsizing. And a lot of times they're not ready for it, the older generation, but a lot of times they are too. So it is helping them understand the value of their stuff. And it is true that we're in a time that people don't really want your stuff. And so that's a harsh reality to come to. I don't know if you've seen, or I know there was a documentary or a show on somewhere streaming, and there's a book about Swedish death cleaning. In Sweden, that's like part of their routine and ritual is as you age that you start letting go of things. You start getting rid of things before you pass so that you don't pass that on to your children and the next generation. Here, you give it differently. We say, we are going to pass this on to our children because they're going to want it. But more and more people are realizing that that isn't really helping, that it is a service to your children to be able to.
Here's a clean out. We evolved into a disposable world, which is, I mean, there used to be, oh my gosh, that couch that grandma has is built like a tank. And I mean, it would look great. I mean, that's okay. We don't want that little chintzy little, slip covering, but we can get it reupholstered and it's going to look, pretty kick ass.
Right.
Now you can go to IKEA and you buy a couch, and if it lasts for 4 years, that's a win.
Right.
And you go back and you buy another one.
Things are not made like they used to be.
And I mean, it sounds like a very old person saying right there, not making things like they used to, but
It's the truth.
But it is. I mean, printers are disposable. You look at technology. I mean, how often do you replace your cell phone? I mean, it's every 2 years. I mean, it was $1,000 piece of equipment that we're living in a world where we're like, okay, well, it's 2 years old. The new tech's out there. It's kind of getting, let you throw it out.
Yeah. And things are made to be consumed. Well, this is a whole other thing, but I feel that
Planned obsolescence.
it's made that way so that you have to buy again from that same company, right?
Right. Sure. I should have gotten into that. I should have got it. But is the Container Store your favorite store ever?
I love the Container Store. It is definitely one of the options, one of the places that I go to get containers. The great thing is nowadays, organizing it's a big buzzword these days. And there are more and more places that you can buy containers, that you can buy products. 6 years ago when I started my business, it was hard to come by, but now you can find them in a lot of places. But yes, I do love the Container Store. It's one of my go-tos for sure.
IKEA?
IKEA, yes. Amazon.
There you go.
Target, Walmart.
Okay.
Home Depot, Lowe's. We shop around. I have my list of my go-to products, but they're really found in different places. So it just kind of ends.
So you know,
different.
No, I'm sort of curious as you talked about, we come in, we see, we review, and we conquer. You talked about people coming back in for touch-ups, just like house cleaners and stuff like that would be. How hard is it to maintain once you guys leave? I mean, I guess I know that's up to the individual.
It is. So, truly, it depends on the amount of stuff that you have. Some people are maximalists, where we are stuffing drawers full, and that's going to be harder to maintain because there's just more stuff. I really do encourage decreasing the amount of stuff just because it is easier to maintain. But we do, when we're coming to organize, we are helping to make those decisions on what percentage do you want to go, or we'll even say, to make this as maintainable as possible, I would say that 20% needs to go, or 30%, just kind of give a percentage, or honestly, truthfully, half of this needs to go in order for it to be easy to maintain.
Okay.
I had a light bulb moment myself where we were moving far away, and we it was an overseas move. So we were living in suitcases for about 2 months. Ouch, yes. This is when I had my big transformation, though, is that I realized how much I needed to live, and it was a lot less than I had. Laundry was so easy because, my house, my kids, I have my kids and my husband, and they each had their suitcases, right, of their clothing. But it took me so much less time to do laundry because I only had so much to do. What I find is we live in a maximalist society where people have closets full of clothing, closets, and maybe multiple closets, and a closet for shoes and, bags or whatever. It's more to maintain because the laundry just piles up and you don't have to do it, if that makes sense, because you have enough. So then when it comes to doing laundry, it's so overwhelming. So if we can simplify what we have, it will be easier to maintain. We still have to do laundry every week, but we're going to do laundry every week anyway. So can we decrease it by 25%? The other thing, there's a statistic that says we wear 20% of what is in our closets. 80% is just storage, things that you don't really love. So
yesterday's style, whatever it may be.
Exactly.
Yesterday's size.
Style, everything changes and evolves, and we change and evolve as individuals. So really helping to notice that and to see, and let's use your space for what you want to use it for.
Is that a good tip for somebody? I mean, absent of hiring Simply Organized, but to attack one drawer, one closet, one cupboard at a time, and just thinned out? I mean, it may not be organized to the degree that you certainly would come in, but I mean, is that a good tip to help thin out what you have and the junk that you've accumulated? Said, okay, now today, Saturday afternoon, I'm going to tackle every drawer in my dresser. If it has a hole, if it doesn't fit, or looks dingy.
Absolutely. When I was coming up with the name of my business, the thing that my transformation was I simplified my life. And that was so important in my mission is to help simplify, not just organize, but simply simplify and organize. So simply organize. So absolutely taking a drawer, working on a small space, it will have a snowball effect into your whole home.
Then you've built a business and you're competing with Tina. But you mentioned you've got your kids. Do you drive them crazy with your organization? My kids were a terror. I mean, they could not close a cabinet door. They could not put a box of cereal back if their life depended on it.
Yeah.
The French fry bag from McDonald's, that just tuck that under the seat. It'll be fine. It'll magically disappear somehow. Does it drive your kids nuts?
It's an ongoing process, and in our home and have these systems in place. We have a home for things and they see how we do it. They're learning and I love when I hear them talking to their friends, saying, you need to get rid of that. Or, you have too many things.
That's awesome.
It's great. I'm like, this is great. So they're learning.
And they don't realize they're learning. So that's.
Exactly. And so, yeah. And I wouldn't say, whenever I mention that I'm a professional organizer, two things that I hear from people, I don't come to my house. And, your house must be pristine. It's not. It's a livable space. My home is comfortable. It's livable. And it's really easy to clean up. So I don't worry about if we have guests over because I'm like, okay, it's going to take 20 minutes just to get things put back. The other thing, though, with this is I really encourage people to reset their homes weekly. Do a weekly reset of your spaces. So you got to do laundry, got to grocery shop, get ready for the week, put everything away. And if there's something new that you've acquired, you've got to make a decision of where is that home. The other thing, though, is that as you make that decision, something else might need to go in order to make that space for it.
You established Simply Organized 7 years ago, you said?
6 years ago.
6 years ago. Congratulations. Most don't make it to 5. So
thank you.
What is the future? I know on your website it says that you're also in Dayton, Ohio, which seems a little bit random.
Very random.
Yeah. So what is the future? What's about Dayton and what's the future hope for Simply Organized?
Yeah. So I will tell you, I'm a military spouse, and the reason that we have 2 locations is because we lived in Dayton, Ohio. So I established it there, and then we were moving here to Annapolis, and so kept it going there with the team, and have a team here in Annapolis. So future for Simply Organized is just to keep steadily growing. I'm not wanting to grow multiple locations or anything, but just to have a steady string of clients that we can help and we can serve.
This seems really ideal for somebody that maybe is a stay-at-home parent to be able to do this, to be able to, learn the tricks of the trade from you.
Yeah.
To be able to do, any plans to license or franchise, and maybe, who knows?
At this point, it's up in the air. Or see, there are any structured plans in place, but we will see.
It sounds like it would be very primed to do. And my recommendation would be go down to Florida, because that's where you got a lot of the old people that are collecting all that junk that we've talked about that need to get rid of. I know that a couple of people that run the vintage stores, which is somewhat all the rage now, they'll rent a U-Haul down in Florida and they'll shop the garage sales, because most of the homeowners in Florida, okay, when you retire and you're able-bodied and everything else, you buy a home in Florida and you furnish it. And at that point, you've got the money and you're buying quality stuff and it's all good stuff there. And then your next stage is you're going into like a continuing care or some type of a downsized community, and you got all this stuff, but it's good stuff. And then you bring it up here and it's vintage, and it's a little sort of like the old drug trade.
Absolutely.
With furniture. But
I had something else that I wanted to mention. Another service that we do provide that is that we help to unpack and set up a home as well. So with that, anyone that is moving that wants to be able to have a smooth move and smooth transition, you can come in and in one day your kitchen's unpacked and your bedroom's unpacked and you're able to find your toothbrush, So that's something that a service that we provide as well.
That makes perfect sense that you can come in and do something like that.
Yes. So we can do just the unpack, or we can unpack and organize, where we can bring in additional structure after the fact. Usually we'll do the unpack, and then we'll see what's needed to set it up for success.
Oh, if I move again, I'm going to totally do that. I mean, when you get a couple extra nights in a hotel room and say, hey, Tina, come in here and just do your stuff and
Absolutely.
And we'll see you in a couple of days. Oh my gosh, that's got to be a lifesaver for some people. And I mean, you said you're a military spouse, so I mean, you probably had some experience in moving, so much more than just in a suitcase. But for those that are listening that are not quite ready to take the plunge to have your team come in and descend on the home to do it, I mean, do you have just any like tips for just the average Joe that's looking to just get a little bit more organized?
Yeah, I do. So paper is always such an overwhelming thing for people. And when we're in homes, we see piles of old mail and, that just hasn't ever been dealt with. So first tip I want to give is when you get your mail, take 10 minutes to go through it and stand next to the recycling bin and get rid of anything that you don't need. If there are coupons, if you're not a coupon person, don't save those coupons. Just get rid of them. Okay. Then the other thing is I recommend having a place for short-term papers. So it could be a file box, just a small file box on your kitchen counter or in the main living space of the home that's really easy to get to, with files in there for each person in your family, as well as like a 2-file box or 2-file folder, as well as to deal with reference, anything that's just short-term. And then from there, have your long-term files. So your filing cabinet or file box for all of the things that you need to hold on to, your tax records, which you need to have for 7 years, or your birth certificates and all the things.
Deed, mortgage,
your house,
lease, whatever, maybe.
All that. But that's an easy solution to just having some structure of what are we doing with this paper. The other thing is that you do have, I think each individual in the house should have their own file box or storage box with their keepsakes, labeled keepsakes for some of those things that just accumulate, right? But there are things that you love that you don't really have use for, but you just need a place for it to store. So everybody needs a storage tote for their keepsakes, or maybe a few. But if you have children, you were talking about the art on the wall. I love having a file box for each of the kids with file folders based on their age or the year, whatever grade they're in, so that you can have it organized. So that when they're graduating high school and you want to get all the things together for whatever, you can. So that's another recommendation. One more thing is that when it comes to having the most access and really making your space work for you, I want to talk about a shelf that's up high. It's really not usable unless you're really tall, but even then you can only reach like the first few inches on that shelf. So I would recommend one of two things. Either you get a Lazy Susan that you can put on the shelf that turns so you can have access to anything there, or to have a basket that fits that top shelf. Because with that basket, you have full access to the front, to the back. Nothing's falling and getting lost in the back.
Pull it right off or just spin it around. Yeah, my top shelves usually just have like stuff that I like to look, because it's a waste. It's also a waste of space.
It's a waste of space. So yeah, it could definitely be a display. But if you're like in a pantry or a space that is, you need to use that space. That's what I recommend.
This is great. SimplyOrganizedWithTina.com or SimplyOrganizedAnnapolis.com. Or if you're out in Dayton, you can go to SimplyOrganizedDayton.com. Find out what it is. I mean, I know I would be surprised as to what can happen with an organized home. But congratulations and thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, John. It's wonderful. I'm grateful to have this opportunity and look forward to being able to help others.
Thanks for listening to this week's Local Business Spotlight. Please make sure to visit eyeonannapolis.net for all your local news, events, and opinion. And in case you haven't already, please subscribe to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, where we bring you all the day's local news direct to your phone, tablet, or computer in about 10 minutes. It comes to you at 6 a.m. every Monday through Friday, and you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.